I'm Yolande Poirier from Oracle Technology Network, and I'm here today at Devoxx talking to Geert Bevin.
Yes.
Geert, hi.
Hi, Yolande. Thanks for having me.
So tell us, Geert, what do you do for a living first?
I work for a company called Zero Turnaround as a senior software engineer. We make a couple of products that are awesome for Java developers so that you can get more productive and really get the most out of your day, basically. And then outside of that, I've got a whole bunch of pet projects like passionate occupations that get me into new technological areas and experimental stuff, basically. Yeah.
So you're doing a presentation about LeapMotion, and you did also an hackathon about LeapMotion. So tell us, what is LeapMotion?
So LeapMotion is a tiny little device. Actually, I've got one right here. Let me just take it out. The cable is long enough. So this is about the size of a pack of gum. It's really not that big. And what it does, it actually measures the position of your hands in 3D space. And then it gives you a whole bunch of information so that you can actually do things with that data, right? And so what we're doing here in the hackathon is we've got Raspberry Pi devices like an embedded workshop that are hooked up through a REST interface, and then the LeapMotion controller is also available through a JavaScript interface, and then these can be connected together and you can kind of come up with some crazy ideas like move a motor around while moving your hands in the air. And yeah, it's been very interesting to see how people have actually started thinking about what they can do, because initially they were a little bit scared, like afraid, okay, I have to be creative. But after the first two joins, I think people really started flocking to the hackathon, and we filled up the table. So yeah, that was great.
So what kind of project have you built with the LeapMotion?
So the first project that I built is actually a project that allows you to make music with your hands, since I'm also a musician, and I thought that it was actually something I've always wanted to do. Is a little bit like being a virtual conductor, but in the digital age. So you can like scratch in the air and bring instruments up and down with your hands, and that has been quite successful. About 3,000 users of that now. Wow. And then when that was put in place, I was looking what was out there, and it seemed to me so obvious to try to play games with this input device. And there was actually nothing doing that to allow you to play existing computer games, so keyboard and mouse computer games. And I said, like, well, that seems like a nice idea to explore. And so I created an app for that, which basically allows you to map a series of gestures towards keyboard and mouse commands. And they've been thought out in such a way that you're actually able to constantly hold both of your hands out and have tiny gestures that allow you to control various things. And this then bled into other areas where you can actually control your whole computer with it, not only games. And that's been quite popular, also about 20,000 users. So this is a very interesting kind of area to see what people are expecting and how far you can drive things without them becoming uncomfortable.
Okay. So are you going to demo something for
us?
If
you want to, yeah. I've got it
cool.
set up here. So So I've got the device down here, and what you can see on screen is actually the mapping interface of the GameWave software. And so this is set up now to do operating system control with a bunch of gestures that I set up for my own comfort. So what I have is my hand, when it's in the frame, I can actually start using it to swipe between screens, right? I've got these discrete gestures. Something else that I can do is I can stick out one finger and then like turn off, control the volume of my Mac, right? Which are operations that I do quite frequently when I sit in front of the screen. Something else that I can do is obviously control the mouse. So if I double tap, I can actually start controlling the mouse pointer. And if I click with my finger on my thumb, I can actually activate a real click. And then typically what I also do is when I read a lot of information on the internet, obviously. So once I'm, let's say, in this Devoxx page and I want to scroll through it, I can bring in my other hand and I can kind of scroll through the page like this. And then if I step forwards, I close the page. So that's one example. I've got another example set up here. So you've got different profiles that you can use. I've got one for a game called Diablo, which is quite popular. So let me launch that real quick. So what I will do is I will be able to actually control the character in the game with my hands. I will be able to move it around and to shoot and to execute a series of actions with it. So yeah, that huge mouse pointer is set up for this demo. I don't usually use mouse pointer like that, but anyway, let's see if I can connect to this. Resume game. And so in this situation, let me see. There is my pointer, which should be much smaller, but I can kind of move my warrior here. Well, she's not a warrior. I think she's, can't remember what she is. Some kind of witch doctor thingy. And so when she moves around, I can also start shooting stuff.
Oh,
right?
Nice.
And I can go to here. And let's say if I play with multiple people and I want to ask for help, I can step forward and she will ask for help. Say, hey, help me, come over here. And then some other things you typically do is, let's say that I want to show the map. I can swipe left with my left hand and the map shows, or right to show the inventory, which are typical operations. And then I can kind of start battling. So I've got these monsters here and I can start gaming, right? So yeah, this is a lot of fun, and it's actually working way better than I anticipated. It was kind of a research seeing how well I can get this to work. And in general, let's say, I think 3 out of 4 games are actually very suited to this kind of control. So yeah, there you go.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Yeah.
Thanks.